Hi, welcome to the Post-COVID-19 Church podcast for this week. My name is Ikwag Igwe. I am the author of the Post-COVID-19 Church book, and I am excited to be your host one more time this week. Today, I'm going to talk about the word collaborations when it comes to your church. Now, if you understand where the world has headed to, where the world has gone into, you realize that it's about data. The world is being data driven. The world is, in a nutshell, the world is online right now. The internet, it's the internet. It's pushing the way stuff is being run today. Now, traditionally, in our normal traditional meetings, we are used to. As a church, we are used to just being in our cocoons. We are used to just playing by our own rules, playing by our own processes, playing by our own procedures, playing by our own credences. All right. But I want to announce to you today that it is time that you form new collaborations. Because there are bodies, there are denominations who are doing amazing stuff that you need to also be doing, but you have been unable to get to that point. But one thing that will make you do a leap jump to that point is by collaborating. Now, the usual challenge we find in collaborations is when you want to associate with another body and you are not offering anything. You are not bringing anything to the table. Now, the oil that makes collaboration work, what pushes collaboration and make collaboration effective is when you are putting something on the table as well. So the question is, what are you ready to put on the table? Because you can't expect to just come into a relationship expecting to only take. You have to make up your mind to come into collaboration expecting to also give, because it is a give and take relationship. You give and you take what you intend taking, but you have to drop something. It mustn't be monetary. It could be service. It could be training. It could be a think tank. It could be whatever. Look within you. What do you have to offer? The question is, we all are heading towards the same direction. We all are heading towards the same goal, which is making disciples of all nations. Now, disciples who you are going to make, the audience who you are called to reach out to, is not the same audience that the Mr. A is called to reach out to. Mr. C's audience is not Mr. D's audience. We all have our unique audience, all right? Paul was called to get to the Gentiles, while Peter was called to get to the Jews. But they had to collaborate at some point in order to make a wholesome and total impact. At the end of the day, we are called to save the world. We are the salt of the earth. We are the light of the world. And it is time that we begin to collaborate. Now, it is easier now that the world has gone online, because it's easier for one who is in Africa to collaborate with someone who is in Europe. It's easier for someone who is in Asia to collaborate with someone who is in the Americans. All right, because the world has become a small global village. You can collaborate anywhere. Don't be surprised that your audience is not only limited to your local geographic location. Your audience is also somewhere far away, millions of miles away from you. So how do you get across to those audience? How do you conduct an effective follow-up? Because we are not just called to just preach. We are not just called to just give out our message. Jesus didn't just come to preach and go away. Jesus made disciples. He raised people that would take the message on. And how did he do that? He took them apart. He had a close contact with them. He got feedbacks from them. So this is the same thing that collaboration will also help you do. Where you might not be able to get to physically, you can get there online, and by collaborating, you can make effective, you can produce effective results. By collaborating, you can produce something bigger than what you could have done just by playing by your own rules. So it is time. So the post-COVID-19 is ushering us into an opportunity of collaborations. It's ushering us into a world full of opportunities where you can collaborate with people of different background, different exposure, different ways of reasoning, different philosophies, different from your own. And by collaborating, you get to achieve greater results. Now, when Jesus got into a region where he delivered the man that had a legion of demons in him, all right, the Bible said that when he cast out the devil from the man, that the villagers came out and told him that they do not need him there, that he should go away. Now, remember also that the man that was recently delivered wanted to follow Jesus but Jesus said, no, you won't come with me. Stay back here. What did Jesus simply do? Jesus simply collaborated with that man. Because at that point, Jesus realized that, okay, I can't get in here physically, but I have someone. I have made a disciple. I have made a witness here. Now, the Bible said that the man ended up preaching to Decapolis, and that means 10 villages. Jesus couldn't have done that because he wasn't accepted there, but he went through a man who was accepted. And that is simply collaboration, right? So Jesus couldn't get there, but he collaborated with this man who had access, who already had acceptance, who already had an audience in that place. And the man did the job in 10 villages. So that's what collaborations can do for you. Where you might not be able to get into physically, collaborations can take you there. It can take your message further. It can take your influence further. It can take what your divine assignments, your divine calling further than what you are able to do physically. So I hope with these few examples, with these few insights, I've been able to make some valid points in your mind this week that it is time to collaborate. Post-COVID-19 is here. The world has taken a new turn, and we also need to take a new turn in order to be able to reach the world, in order to have a greater audience, in order to become more effective, in order to make more disciples unto Christ. Collaborations should be what you should be thinking about right now. God bless you too for listening to my podcast, and I hope to see you again next week. Remember, you need to collaborate. Cheers for staying tuned. Bye-bye.